Hello. Thank you so much for joining us as always. I'm here with my sweet friend Amber Coleman.
Sorry to be late to the live show, right?
I know, right? Not late. I think we're just on time. A huge hello to the people who are watching us already. Thank you so much. Those of you who are watching us live. If you are joining us later, or you join us later, or you hop off and hop back on, you can always rewind to the beginning and watch this again, and we would encourage you to do so.
We got good things to say today.
Good stuff today. So first things first, this is a live stream for you. We want to answer your questions about anything that you want to know about. It could be about real estate, it could be about Las Vegas, whatever. Today, we're going to really focus heavily on real estate from our perspective because, there's a lot of stuff happening. There's a lot of changes happening, a lot of shifts.
Hourly almost.
Hourly changes in our world.
The shifting this year is, you go through years without market changes. This is I feel like we're on our 5th market change.
This year alone, yes. So we're really, really excited though. We've got some good information to share with you. So the plan for our live stream today is we're going to give you kind of the state of the union when it comes to rates, and the Fed meeting is actually currently happening right now, I think.
Yep.
We're getting minute by minute updates about that we'll start to share with you and explain kind of what it means for you if you're thinking about buying a home. We're going to give the state of the union when it comes to Las Vegas real estate, where we stand.
I love that, the state of the union.
We're doing it. And we're just bringing all the heat when it comes to information. So if you have a question about anything we discuss, or you've just been dying to ask us something for a while now, drop it in the comments box. We'll make sure that we address those questions before we shut down for the day. But I'm just excited to be here with you, my friend.
I'm excited. I always get excited when you come over.
Good news. It's all good news.
It's always a good day when Laci's here. She brings the energy. Look at you.
So that's kind of the plan. So State of the Union across the country, State of the Union from a Vegas real estate perspective, and then we're going to run into a few things after that where we really want to take the conversation a little bit deeper, and we want to just
go deep today.
We want to get real with you guys. We're done. So today we're talking about what the F is going on with Las Vegas real estate. That's the title of this live stream, so we got to jump into it.
Okay.
So Amber, I know you are very good about watching super closely to the Fed meetings that happen and the inflation numbers and the stock market, and thank God you're smarter than me when it comes to all that stuff.
I wouldn't say that.
No, but truly, thank you. But let's give me the State of the Union as of today. What are we seeing? What did the Fed say in this meeting, and what does it mean for home buyers?
As of right now, literally,
like 1 minute ago,
it's still happening right now, but. As of right now, the Feds have announced that they're going to raise the basis points for their Fed fund rate, 75 basis points. Now, I want to explain this, though, because some people, I'm getting texts right as it's happening. The Feds just raised the rate 75 basis points. What does this mean for me? Right. So when they raise the Fed funds rate, that's short-term rates. That's car loans, credit cards, home equity lines, which are like lines of credit you can take on your house, not 30-year fixed rates.
Right.
What affects our 30-year fixed rates are the perception of how the stock market takes it, and then what that perception does affects the bond market and the stock market and stuff like that.
The Fed raising the rates has nothing directly to do with your rates as a home buyer.
With your long-term 15, 20, 30-year fixed loans. It doesn't affect it, but the perception does. Like when the Feds are doing stuff like this, it makes us understand because they're watching everything that's happening in our country, right? So when they're making moves, then we're like, oh crap, right? When everybody goes, oh crap, you're going to see things skyrocket.
Right.
So that's kind of what happens. And as the meetings starting to come to an end, when we were just watching what the market's doing, the market is rallying right now. The stock market's rallying because the Feds say they're going to start slowing the pace on how fast they raise this.
And they're slowing the pace because they have admitted that recession, let's be honest, we're in a recession, right?
Yeah.
Let's be very honest.
We're in it.
It's like we were joking yesterday, they're literally changing the definition of recession to fit what they want the news to tell the world.
It's crazy.
However, we are in a recession. That's the bottom line. And it's not going away, right? We know that this is something we're going to have to move through and work through. But as a home buyer, recession is actually better for you and good for you because the rates will typically go down, right?
Yeah.
We also have an election year coming up next year. And as much as I don't want to admit it, that's when they like to make things look polished up and
for
pretty.
This year. That's in a few months.
Oh, that's right. It's this year. I don't know what day it is. Sorry. Election coming up, right? Yeah. So with all that being said, there's just a lot of things on the table that are affecting perception. And perception is not always reality. So we want to just basically explain this stuff to you so that you understand just because you're hearing the Fed raise the rate, they're not raising your rates. However, the perception and the fear mongering and all the stuff that goes on out there can have an effect on it. And so that's why we like to talk about it.
Yeah. And that's why a lot of times we'll see when the Feds do stuff, we're looking at maybe the rates raised before they did it because of the perception, right? And then when it comes out, we'll actually see them calm.
Right.
So right now we're going to watch the market's reaction is what's going to affect our rates, good or bad. And so when the Feds do something like a 75 basis points and then follow it up with saying, that they're going to slow down future raises, that to me means that the reports that they're looking at shows what we're all filling in our pocketbooks.
Well, and they're admitting that the recession, that the inflation has pulled people back. It's making everybody spend less money. Although there's some people out there saying the exact opposite, which makes no effing sense to me. What was that lady's name? Janet something?
Well, Janet Yellen, she used to be the Fed chair. So she came out yesterday, and I'm going to probably not repeat this the right way,
of course,
but this is what I took out of it, right? So she came out and said, so the definition of recession is 2 quarters of negative GDP growth, right?
Yes.
2 quarters. So we're hitting that 2 quarters. So she came out and basically said, this is how I took it, that we might have 2 quarters of negative GDP, but people still have money, so we're not in a real recession. I was like, what? We're just twisting this to be able to fit a narrative right now. I mean, am I reading that wrong?
No, I heard the same thing and I said, what? So, we're not changing the definitions of anything.
Let's keep the same definition.
We're just going to be real with you guys. So that's kind of what we're here to talk to you about. Thank you for that update. It is hour by hour. We're getting updates because I think the Fed meeting is still happening. We're looking at the updates as it comes out. But as of right now, it's great news for you. It's great news for us. We don't know what's going to happen from a perception perspective. However, recession means slowing and lowering typically of rates.
Slowing means bad news for economy. Like when the economy comes out with their reports, bad news equals better rates. So as you see things kind of go in that direction when there's bad news, it's not always bad news. There's always a silver lining in something. So what that usually means is lower interest rates. What we're trying to help people to see is when we hit the lower interest rates, we're back in a frenzy again, right? Yep. When rates hit about 5, people started slowing down.
Yep.
So if we see them dip underneath 5, there's a lot of potential home buyers out there with the amount of people that are at the age and have jobs to be able to buy a house. So there's a lot of potential home buyers that are just waiting. The last thing you want to do is wait for everybody to buy because then you're in that frenzy where everybody's bidding again. Right?
Like that's something I want to talk about in a few minutes because we're going to talk about a little bit later when we get deeper. I'm going to give a few updates just so you guys know what the hell's going on here in Vegas as of June. And I'll give you some updates as of today for what's going on the market. But, we're going to also talk about kind of fear and what are we afraid of? Like, what are you afraid of? And we're going to address each and every one of your fears with and hopefully convince you that they shouldn't be a fear. You should use that fear. While everyone else is fearful, you should be greedy. Is that what you said?
And when everybody else
is greedy, you should be fearful. Yeah.
I think we said it backwards.
Whatever. Yeah. All right. So let me run through. So thank you for everybody. I see all your comments. We're going to be visiting that very quickly. If you have questions for us, please drop it in the comments box. We will definitely get to your questions shortly. Let's talk about what the hell's going on in the market.
Yes.
As of June, just to give you the report, right? So for single family homes, as of June, we only have June numbers as of right now. We're almost at the end of July. Our median price for units that were sold is $480,000. We sold a little over 2,600 units. And I mean, we only had about 2,600 homes available on the market in the whole month. So, I mean, everything that was up got sold basically. That's what it feels like to me.
Yeah.
From a condo townhouse perspective, our median price is about 280 and we sold a little under 800 units. So I want to just touch on condos right now and also high-rise condos because that's a real opportunity. The condo community and pricing has not really gone crazy like the rest of the valley has. And I think that that's an opportunity for those of you who might be looking to invest or buy something that's quote affordable like Vegas used to be, which I still think Vegas is very affordable. It's just not the sweet candy that gives you a cavity affordable. Yeah. What are you comparing it to? But condos and townhouses, we have a lot of those around Las Vegas and there's some really beautiful ones with not too crazy of an HOA. And I just think if you're trying to invest your money in Vegas, we're doing nothing but going up. The city's doing nothing but continuing to build. And if 480 median price is out of your budget for right now or too much of a risk, maybe consider the high-rise condos or condos or townhouses. I do have a video I'm going to plug right now. On Friday, I'm going to be releasing a video about condo hotels and doing Airbnb. So please tune into that video. Check it out. Share it with your friends. The number one phone call we have gotten this year is, I want to buy a house in Vegas and I want to Airbnb it. I want to buy a house in Vegas. I want to Airbnb it. And our Airbnb laws and rules are really screwy. So
your audience is really smart, though.
I know they are.
I mean, that's a good way to make some money.
To do. So we're going to help you navigate that.
People are afraid of condos, mostly because of the financing. So don't be afraid.
So stay tuned for Friday. But just wanted to kind of highlight those two numbers for you. So $480 median price for a home, single family home. And this doesn't include new homes. So just resale. $280 for condos and townhomes. So just keep in mind, there is still affordability in Las Vegas, and even homes, that's a median price, right? There are still affordable homes. And then I'm going to move into, last month we had about 2.2 months worth of effective availability, meaning that with the number of people moving in and leaving, the number of homes that we had available on the market was only about 2.2 months worth of homes, which means we were about to run out of houses.
When does normal market hit? Like
when
how
we're
many
at
months?
6 or 7 months.
Okay, so we still have some growth to go to be able to get there.
As of today, single family homes, how many we have on the market, we are almost triple the number of homes on the market that we were in May and June.
Yes, buyers have options.
Almost triple. Mm-hmm. So that's great news for buyers. So if you don't know, prior to June, July, buying a house, getting an offer even looked at, accepted, being able to pay what it's listed versus maybe above listing and waiving appraisals and no repairs, and it was a very unfriendly buyer market, very unfriendly. It was horrible. Yeah. That is long gone. We're now in a far more balanced market. There are still sellers out there who think they're going to get way above what their house is worth. Good luck to them. But at the end of the day, we have a lot more options for you as a buyer. You're not fighting it out and duking it out because there's less buyers on the market because they're doing what? I'm going to wait until the market crashes before I buy. I'm going to wait until the rates go back down. Cool. So while you're waiting for the rates to go back down, you're saying goodbye to money that you could be earning in equity every single month that goes by while everybody else is waiting for the same thing.
And then when rates go down, there's going to be a frenzy.
On the market again.
And they're going to be on the market because of the population that's buying, especially in Vegas.
So we have a little under 10,000, about 9,600 single family homes available right now. And that again I think it's triple what we had before. It's a little bit over triple. And then condos, we have a little over 1,000, which is, I think, a little bit, that's pretty steady with where we've been.
I think it is at least double because I remember pulling them. I remember seeing them in May. 400 in May. And it was 4,000 some odd. So I think it's at least double. Yeah. That was just single family.
Oh, yeah. So we're in a great place for you as a buyer. Now let's talk about rates. Let's just talk just in general. Rates are definitely more and higher than they were in COVID time. Why? Because they were stimulating the shit out of our market to make people want to buy houses. They were fake rates.
These rates are real.
We don't buy fake news and we don't buy fake rates. Yeah?
I mean, we'll use the fake rates when they're there, but yeah, I mean, as far as the interest rates, I'm seeing them, and based on what the Fed say today, it gives me a little bit of hope inside of me that we're stable. We're going to be stable. We're not going to be seeing this anymore. We're
not going to see the spike of pricing.
And whenever it stabilizes, anytime bad news is released, then we might even see a dip. So I have hope inside of me that that's what we're going to see moving forward. The first half of this year was rough.
Not a fun time. Not for anybody in the game. Not a fun time.
No, I mean, and to see rates go from basically there's a 3% jump in rates in 6 months.
Yeah.
Never in the history have we ever seen anything like that. So we have a little balancing out to do. We have a little, to where I don't think they'll ever go down to 2s and 3s. And honestly,
stop waiting for it.
I would pray that they don't, because when they go, then we see these happen. We see these if they're going to do that, right? So now that the feds are dealing with inflation, they can't go back into inflation, at least right away.
Right.
So they're pulling back, which is why we're seeing higher rates. Yep. And then when the recession hit, or when they announce actually that
we're in a damn recession. Come on,
when
Yelman.
The announcement
we're
happens.
In a recession, Janet Yelman. What's her name? Yelman.
So when they actually announce that we're in a recession, then you're going to see the bad news hit. So that'll cause the rates to dip a little bit. I don't think they'll get to where COVID, and I would pray that they don't.
It's not going to happen.
Honest with you.
Stop waiting for it. It's not going to happen. I'm sorry.
But to wait, to see it go lower, yes, jump on it when they are, especially if you have sellers that are fearful and you're buying a house, you see the rates dip a little bit, be the first one out there.
Negotiation, baby.
Be the first one out there. Let's talk so we can get you ready. So when it's time to jump, you can jump. You don't want to start getting ready when everybody else is jumping, right?
Trust us. And we're going to talk about that. I want to just pause for a minute. If you're just tuning in, I see we've got a quite good group of people here. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you.
Please feel free to rewind to the beginning. I kind of laid out the plan for today. We gave some good stats. We talked about the Fed rate hike that everybody's thinking is affecting you as a buyer. It's not. So just rewind if you want a little bit to catch up on what we've discussed. But now I want to move into, I'll give you a little bit of an update of what's happening for us as we represent buyers and as we represent sellers. As we see more homes hitting the market, we're also seeing new home builders have more cancellations because the people who qualified at that 2% rate a year and a half, 2 years ago, and their house is now almost done, they can't afford the house anymore because of the rate changes. So we're seeing a lot more opportunity with new homes as well, which please don't ever go to a new home community without our team, or we can't help you. You have to take us with you or you don't get to go, and that's the bottom line. Please don't go without us. But so we're seeing new homes hit the market. We're seeing more inventory. As we represent sellers, we have to have a hard conversation up front with the sellers who are pissed that their neighbor down the street, Charlie, sold his house and got $50,000 more than it was even worth
3 months ago.
3 months ago. That's a hard conversation with sellers. However, it seems to be working because we got more inventory on the market, right? People now, I think, are realizing they waited too long.
They're seeing it themselves.
They waited too long, right? So they want to get out. They want to grab while they can because they think a crash is coming. A crash is not coming.
But the sellers kind of did the same thing the buyers are doing. If you're waiting for rates to drop, the sellers are waiting for the highest houses to hit the top, and then what happens? They miss it.
It's exactly what happened. So I had a couple of clients that were waiting till the height of the market. No matter what I said or did, they didn't believe me, even though this is what I do for a living every single day. And long story short, they're now listing their house and they're 3 months too late. And so they're not going to have the opportunity to capitalize on those people who were desperate and paying extra money and all that. So we are having hard conversations with our sellers. We're having them be more realistic with pricing, more realistic with timing. Because a lot of them were expecting their house to be sold in less than 2 days. And now houses are sitting on the market a little longer, which they should marinate. It's a
normal
good thing.
Market, market. Yeah.
And then, we're not seeing sellers being able to play hardball very, very much these days.
Thank you.
So it's an evening out market. So if you're considering moving to Las Vegas, or if you're here already and you are renting, for the love of God, please call us. We do not want you renting. We do not want you wasting any time doing anything other than investing in your future. And yes, the rates are higher than they were during COVID. They are still great rates. And we want to convince you that now is the time to buy so that later, when the rates do go down, you don't have to go through the house buying process at that time. You just go through the house refinance process at that time. And it's way less.
A lot easier.
And that's when you get to sit in the home that you took your time to buy and you had all this time and negotiation. It's a much better, much safer bet for you. So with that being said, from a buyer perspective, just kind of alluded to all of this already, the buyers that we're working with have a lot more options. They definitely have had to adjust their buying power with the rates, right? So if the rates go up, they have to maybe look for a little bit less, and rates come down, they have a little bit more to spend. But we've seen some really awesome deals happening for our clients. We're seeing negotiability. Not everybody gets a screaming deal. Most of the time you're paying what it's listed for, right? But we're seeing appraisals still come in at value, which is amazing. We're seeing repairs
we didn't see that for a long time.
No, we did not.
We weren't seeing anything.
No, we did not. Value. We're seeing repairs being made by the sellers, whereas before they were like, screw you, do you want my house? If not, I've got 38 people. I'm not fixing anything. So it's not a buyer's market yet. We're almost there. But I don't want it to be a buyer's market. I want it to be an even market. And I think that's kind of where we are right now. We're kind of in an even market, more balanced market. So just quick, if you just joined us, please feel free to rewind back to the beginning. We've talked a lot about the Fed rate hike and things like that. Now we're going to move into a section that we like to call What the F is Going On and What the F Are You Scared Of? It's a little section that we've decided to dub What the F, right?
Yeah, I think it's a good dub.
It's good. So we want to really get deep with you on this live stream today. Yes, we can all give all the numbers that maybe none of you even know what they mean. I didn't before I got into this industry. I had no clue. You'd say the Fed rate hikes went up, and I would say, what? I have no clue, right?
It's Greek.
It's Greek, right? So if what we're saying to you doesn't make sense, get on the phone call with us one-on-one, and we'll actually explain it in whatever terms you need it to learn it in. We want to educate you, but we want to go deep when it comes to fear. Because we talk a lot. Amber and I have like these pep rally talks, like if it's a bad day on the market, or if it's a bad day at work, or if it's a great day, we're on the phone with each other.
Even personally too. Sometimes you just have to get vulnerable, right?
Right. So it helps. We talk a lot about fear. We talk about, what are people afraid of right now? What are you afraid of? If you want, please do me a favor and drop in the comments box. What are you afraid of right now with the idea of buying? I'd love to see what your comments are and what your replies are. We've got a few that we're going to run through, but I want to see what you guys are afraid of, if you're afraid at all. So start dropping on those comments. Amber, one of the biggest things that I know we're afraid of, and we talked about this a lot, and it's kind of baseline. We think people are afraid of being judged for buying a house right now because their friends or their family or Janet Yellman on the news might say, poor Janet, might say, you're an idiot. I can't believe you did that right now, right?
And that's what's happening. Yep. Like the news is talking about, ooh, hold off, hold off, hold off. You're hearing on YouTube and all these other sources that crash, crash, crash. We've already explained that in other YouTube videos of there's no way that we can have a crash because we would need foreclosures in order to do that. But you're hearing all that. So when you make the choice to buy, your family members, your friends are going to be like, no, you're doing it at the wrong time. Why? Because they probably did it at the wrong time in 2008. So they're letting their past trauma reflect on you. Right. And we're in a whole different world right now.
What I forgot to mention was rentals. I want to mention this because it kind of plays into fear.
It's important to go after
the rental market is still flying high and on the rise. And now I'm even seeing people charge $300 to $400 for a rental application at apartment complexes. So renting is not the way to go. I'm sorry to wedge that in there, but it has to do a lot with fear as well.
Well, and that has to do with our housing market too. The higher the rents are, the housing market's not going to go down because your options, you have two options. You can either rent or you can buy. There's really nothing in between, right? So if rental market's high, that means that people are going to get tired of their payments going up year to year as that 1 year lease goes up, right? And then they're going to say, screw this, I need some security. How can I buy? Well, the higher the rental market is, the housing market will continue too because the renting market feeds the housing market. So we're going to continue to see.
Well, and that fear that we're talking about has everything to do with the rent as well, right? We're afraid that the other fears are afraid of being judged, afraid of not liking Vegas maybe and not, wanting to stay, afraid of exactly what you just said, of the rates going up and then also your payment going up. I'd rather pay myself or pay interest rates on a house I'm owning versus an increase on someone else.
You know what? That's a good point. You said I'd rather pay myself. You are paying yourself when you own a house, right? Because you're gaining that equity. In long term, you're always going to win. Look at the graphs. The graphs will always show that you win long term when you own a house.
So from a judgment perspective, we know that the news media is taking you one way. Your friends everybody has an opinion, right? We just want to urge you to please listen to the people who do this every single day for a living, who are not here trying to I don't care if you buy a house. I want you to buy a house because I know that's the right thing for you. And hey, that's what we do for a living. But we're here giving you the truth. And we're here genuinely concerned for your best interest and our city's best interest. So fear of judgment, figure out how to, we like to say, please don't be a sheeple. Don't be a sheeple. Don't follow the rest. Be greedy when others are fearful because you'll be able to be the one that wins in the end. And that's really the goal for you. Other thing that people are afraid of is buying a house and seeing it crash or having a crash happen if they buy the house and then they're stuck with this $480,000 house that is not worth $480,000. What's your take on that?
Well, I'm just going to get a little bit personal. So I did lose during the last crash. I lost 2 houses during the last crash. When I was able to buy a house, I had to beg a bank to give me a loan for it. But when I was able to buy a house, I did get another house. I didn't put anything on the walls in the house for 2 years. That's how afraid I was.
You were scared that it wasn't yours.
I was so afraid that I was going to lose it again, that the market was, there was just so many fears that went through my head that's how it affected me. I was like, I can't fully move into this and put holes in the walls just in case, right? So the only way that I could overcome that fear was I had to look at a long-term picture. I had to look at a picture of if I rent, I'm still paying something each month. If I buy, I'm paying something each month. But I have options when I buy. So what I did to overcome that fear is I made a plan for myself. And I said, if I don't have a mortgage payment at all, and I'm looking at this long term, right? If I don't have a mortgage payment at all, then I don't have any fear of anything, right? Because who cares what the market does if you're not paying anything monthly? So what I did is I worked out a plan for me to pay. It took me 9 years. So I'm not saying this is a short-term goal. It can't happen.
Real estate is a long-term investment anyway. And I think we need to make sure that that's stated again,
But because I had that plan in mind, then I had something to shoot for. Whenever you have a goal, you can hit that goal if you keep it top of mind. So taking the fear out, focusing on a goal. That's what I needed. And in the end,
and doing this, earmuffs. I don't care what anybody else has to say.
Honestly, what I've had to learn in life is you got to listen here, right? There's so much noise that enters through your ears that your brain gets fogged with all that noise. You got to listen to your heart and let that feed you, right?
So I know that there's a lot, you had that same thing. A lot of people lost in the last go round of this. And there's a fear, an absolutely justified fear of people losing it again, right? Buying something and it's not worth it. I'm here to say it. We've said it for the last year and a half. We said it since COVID, honestly. There is too much demand and not enough inventory. Even with our increased inventory in the last few months, too much demand for this city, too much flexibility in people's work life and home life now. People can work anywhere they want for the most part, for most jobs. There's too much of that feeding into the city for a crash to happen. A crash would only happen if we start seeing massive foreclosures and things like that. Guess what? Houses are worth a shit ton more than they were when people bought them, even 2 years ago. So why would anybody foreclose on a home if they could simply list it and take that money and run, right?
Not only that, anybody that owned a house during COVID refinanced their house at a 2 to 3% interest rate.
Yep.
If you have a rate that low, a payment that low, to rent would be more expensive. So why would you leave that house regardless of what values are doing? Mind you, I don't think values will ever do that, but why would you ever leave that house to go rent for more and not own a house?
Right. So
you wouldn't.
So crash is not coming. So if that's your fear, please let us ease your fear. There won't be a crash.
And I'm glad you explained that, because so many people are saying everybody's talking inventory. We have to dig into what inventory means. The only way inventory gets to crash levels is people have to just walk away.
And why would anybody do that? That's the dumbest thing, and that would be en masse for that to make the effect on us. So, another thing is interest rates. People are scared of the interest rate. Oh, the interest rates are so high. Oh, they'll keep going up. Oh, we've talked a lot about, you have a program that's a lock and shop program that I think is one of the best programs you guys offer. It allows you to lock the rate in when you feel in a good place about it, right? We know the rates are higher than they were 2 years ago. You all have cavities from the rates 2 years ago. So do I. I have missing teeth from it.
I do. I've actually had teeth pulled because of it.
So we are never going to be there again. And if we are, I will move out of this country, because I'm very scared for what's going to happen if we go back to what we saw before. So knowing that the rates are not going to be 2-3% ever again, or 2.5%, whatever it was ever again, covet the rates that we have right now, and know it's always a good time to buy a house. Find the house, get into the house. We want you to marry the house and date the rate. Is that what we say? Marry the house and date the rate. Meaning, you can always swap out that rate. You can always bring in a new boyfriend. You can always do that, but you got that house. You got that house, right?
Another one of our chief economists, he said something that catches my attention. I was just on a meeting with him a little bit earlier today, and he says at a rate of inflation, right now we're at 9.1. 9.1. So, and if you can get a 6% rate, you're still under that rate of inflation. So you're doing good.
Right.
So in past worlds, the rate of inflation would be very comparable to the interest rate that you're getting.
Right.
So right now we're still doing very good compared to how much inflation that we're dealing with.
Right.
I mean, I know that doesn't make it any better when we're running payments for you, but just understand you're marrying the house. You're dating the rate.
Yeah.
Right when that recession hits and you can see something a little bit more manageable, we refinance you.
We refinance you, baby. Streamline it, make it quick, make it go. Painless. So the other thing is, so buying the house and the value of the home going down. Values are still sticking. I know you're looking at Zillow and Realtor.com and you're seeing price reduction, right? That is not indicative of the home values reducing. That's indicative of greed. And
greedy
sellers wanting to list it for what their buddy Charlie, the neighbor, sold it for 3 months ago. I'm going to get that extra $50K that Charlie got, because screw him. I didn't even like his grass anyway, right? So you're seeing price reductions because homes are sitting on the market longer. Realtors, I love my realtor community mostly,
but not all of them know what they're doing.
Most of them are brand new at this and they don't know what they're doing, or they're not doing it with the right intentions, or they're doing it part-time. So because of that, they don't understand how to properly educate their sellers before they list. They don't know how to properly educate their sellers that timing is going to change. You can't get it sold in one day. It might take 6 months to sell your house. We need to be ready for that, right? So all these things are what are affecting the price reductions, but the values are being appraised exactly at what those houses are selling for. We're really lucky. We're not seeing reductions in value. If you start to see reductions in value, it's going to be because of a lot of the stuff we discussed, where it was, too much inventory because of a bunch of foreclosures, or everybody and their mom tries to sell the house, which again, why would they do that if they have to refinance it at 2% and they're sitting pretty in a beautiful house that they, all the things we've discussed already. So I'm just really wanting to address a lot of the biggest fears out there that we talk about and we try to cover with you guys each and every day. We know inflation is scary. We get it. It scares the crap out of me on a daily basis. Gas prices scare the crap out of me on a daily basis.
Honestly, as I see my bank account going down because of what you're paying out, it sucks.
We get it.
It also makes me angry.
Yeah. And all the more, so inflation is really going to directly affect, obviously, gas prices, things like that, but more so than ever, rental prices. That's not going down for years.
Why do you think investors are taking advantage and buying houses where they can get super high rents.
Right. Rent is not going down. So if you're afraid of inflation, why are you renting? That's the real question. Because that's you're literally buying into the biggest component of inflation that I've seen out there. So these are just some things we wanted to cover. I'm going to look down here for a moment and check some of the comments. I want to know what you're scared of. What can we do to help you?
Be vulnerable with us.
Be vulnerable. We want to help you overcome these fears because it's all bullshit at the end of the day. I'm just going to be very real. The stuff you hear on the news, the stuff you're hearing from your aunt.
It's just kind of like Janet Yellen.
Good old Janet Yellen.
Her name is actually Janet Yellen. We can call her Yellen.
I'm going to Yellen
her. She kind of just led the way for media, right? It was bullshit.
It's all bullshit.
It's bullshit. It's just a way to almost manipulate is what it looked to me like.
I don't like being controlled.
I don't either. Yeah. And I don't like it when I see that, damn it, I've been controlled. Like what?
Yeah. So right now your job is to be vigilant. It's to be vigilant with what you're allowing to enter your brain. I don't want anybody's dream of moving to my beautiful neon hometown or investing in my beautiful neon hometown to be ripped away from them because of some bullshit media or some asshole realtor who doesn't know what he's doing and hasn't been doing this more than 3 days, or some uncle who's sitting at the end of the table at Thanksgiving telling you what his opinion is and he knows everything because he bought 13 houses in his life. None of that is reality. Reality are the people who work in this every day, us. People who lead with their heart, us. People who genuinely want the best for you and for our city, us, right?
I felt your passion.
You feel that? I'm gonna get off my soapbox in a minute.
Thank you, Laci.
So I'm gonna take a look here and see, what are you afraid of? Let's talk through that. Let's go deep. And then any other questions you guys have, drop them in the comment box. The bottom line is we're here. We want to help you build that backbone and that foundation. We want to help you be greedy while the rest of the world is snoozing and they are fearful. All right, let me look here. All right, I'm gonna scooch up here. Oh my gosh, look at all these beautiful comments.
We love you guys.
Oscar, we love you. Hey Brent, how you doing? Hey Carrie. Hey the Mateo. Brent says, is there free parking at the casinos on the Strip? Not really. I don't think there's.
Is there anybody that's offering free parking? Does Westgate? No, that's on Paradise.
I don't think there's any on the Strip. Downtown though, there's I think Plaza's still free. I think Plaza's still free downtown. But
what about the Fashion Show Mall? Is that free?
Yeah, that's free. Free at the Fashion Show Mall. The other thing I want to let you know about parking, I know this is off subject from real estate, but I said you could ask anything, is they believe that paid parking, so that's taking over downtown Las Vegas. Paid parking is on every street now. It sucks because I did a free parking downtown video like a year ago. Don't watch that video. There's nothing left. They believe that the businesses downtown are complaining that and I've seen it personally because I live downtown. It has gotten very slow and it's affected business.
Oh, because they just put that in. I thought it was always there.
They just put it in like 2 months ago.
Oh, and they're Nazis about it too.
It's dead. Yes. Oh yeah, I know. Trust me.
They're bad about it.
We were there 3 minutes over the meter, and they made us pay like $25.
Yeah, and if you're late, they make you pay $35 and then $45.
Yeah. So Brent, no free parking that I'm aware of on the Strip, but I'm definitely downtown in some of the garages for sure. Alci Xpand, thank you so much. He says he loves these streams. Denise, hey, how you doing from Laguna Niguel? I'm gonna come down and visit you, girl. I swear to God. Hey, Sammy, good to see you, babe. We should have a drink soon. Hey, Lawrence, how did you get your? Hello, did you get your hair cut? I no. Maybe I did. Yeah, I think I got it cut. Thanks for noticing. It's kind of a hot mess. You know why? Because it is
a hot mess.
It is fabulous. Humid AF in Las Vegas right now. Someone from Florida brought a bottle of humidity with them and they opened it up. It is crazy.
The monsoon seasons have hit
but it's
Vegas.
Been fun. It's been super fun.
To watch the lightning at night is amazing. Yeah. I mean, when it goes off. So.
Brent's saying, how's the resale on a mobile home? Don't they depreciate?
On a manufactured home?
Yeah.
Manufactured home. So if it's attached to real property, it's going to appreciate just like now. It doesn't appreciate as fast as a single family residence.
Correct, yeah.
But a lot of time it can give you living that's a lot cheaper on a monthly basis because they're a little bit less expensive. But it'll still appreciate with the resale market.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of places out here that don't have the home attached to the land and having that be one real property. So no, actually they're appreciating just slower appreciation.
Yeah.
Good question. Okay, let's see here. DR says, what? There's a recession? Yes, we are in a recession right now. Recession is good for home buyers.
We're calling it. Are we calling that?
We're calling it. Janet can kiss my ass. We're in a recession. Aussie said, let's change the definition. Life's more fun when everybody can't agree. That's super funny. Let's see. Oscar said she's his boss. Janet Yellen is his boss. Oscar, you work for Janet? Tell your homegirl to give me a call.
He said, but she's not bright.
She's not bright. Thank you, Oscar. That was awesome. All right, let's look here. Let's see. Is new inventory outpacing sales? I missed the absolute numbers. So let me run through those numbers again for you guys. Good question.
That is a good question.
Great question.
But you probably wouldn't know that until July numbers.
I won't know that probably for another week and a half. So I will definitely be doing an August update with my sweet friend Amber here in about 2 weeks. But the reality is we have on the market right now, as of this moment, 9,600 single family homes available for sale. Condos are a little over 1,038. Bottom line is those numbers are minimum double, I think almost triple.
They probably are triple.
I think they're triple from where we were like March, April, May. June is when we started to see it uptick, and then it's continued to go up. Is it outpacing sales? No, still not outpacing sales. We're still selling a ton of homes, but it's definitely evening out, right? So by next month or the month after, it's going to be a very interesting thing, and it'll probably feel a little bit more like a buyer's market if it continues at this pace, right? Would you agree?
I would agree too.
But either way, start your process with us today. We don't want you to wait for a market. Please don't wait. Like even if you're not moving for 10 years, please reach out to us today. We promise it'll make everything easier.
Remember, be greedy when others are fearful. There's a lot of fear right now. Don't be
one of them. Fear. Okay, we're going to scooch on down here. Quick note, though, if you just tuned in, feel free to rewind back to the beginning. We've got a lot of good conversation today. We're getting deep with you people. We're getting real. And also, if you do want to talk to us, we are available like almost every damn day. So there's an information in the description below. There's a link you can fill out, which our team will reach out and set up a phone call. If you want to text us, there's a phone number. You can call us as well. You can also send us an email. We are ready and willing and able to serve you at any given time. And we honestly would love for you to call because that gives us a chance to really dig into your situation, which might skew some things from what we talked about today. So, okay. Daryl says, I doubt there's new inventory. They don't build if it's not already sold. Actually, we are seeing, so someone asking, is it resale or new inventory that we're seeing come out from a new homes perspective? We are seeing quite a few new homes hit the market, for like quick move-ins. Like, hey, it's already built, the buyer canceled. And that's largely due to the people who were only in this to buy when they were able to get free money with low interest rates. And now they're canceling those contracts because interest rates have gone up and they're not interested or can't afford to pay what the rate is now. So it is a good opportunity to look at new homes. Our team at the Cerrone Group, we are experts in the new home communities. We have relationships with every single builder in town. We love it. Please don't go to a builder site. Don't go to a builder online. Don't do any of that without our help because we won't be able to represent you. Amber also is very well known, at least on our team, for being able to really give those lenders from the builders a run for their money when it comes to rates and better deals. So there's also free money available still, people. Free money, free amazing programs, lock and shop programs where you can lock your rate and go shopping and not stress about the rates going up. We have a lot more available to us now than ever before. And it's time for you to strike while the iron's hot. Be greedy while others are fearful, right?
We're going to say that over and over again. It's just such a good quote.
I love it. Is it just me, but is rent actually softening? I'm seeing lots of availability stuff sitting vacant long enough to see asking if rent is reducing. No, rent is not going down. Rent is still definitely on the rise. It's not spiking like it did earlier this year or last year. It's not doing what house prices did, right? But it is definitely not going down and not softening. And I am absolutely 100% being honest with you when I tell you, I have a friend yesterday who told me they were trying to apply for an apartment, or sorry, a follower called us, said they were trying to apply for an apartment to rent, and they were charging like $350 or $450 for an application fee.
And how many people are they charging that to, and then
before they decide that they're not taking any more applications? Exactly. And that's a non-refundable, by the way. They're keeping your money regardless. So it's really, really disheartening. The rental industry, and I'm an investor. You're an investor. We have houses that we rent out, but seeing the greed in the rental industry is, it's hard. It's really, really hard. Let's see. Why aren't there some form of rent control in the Las Vegas Valley? That's
a great question.
Great damn question. I don't know.
I'm sure in the future there probably will be.
I think because California did that, right?
I think they
have some areas that have rental restrictions and rent control. If you guys are from California, let us know. But I'm almost positive there's some areas, depending, that do.
Vegas is probably next because with the greed.
Yeah,
but I think the greed is kind of nationwide right now in the rental market. It's not just Vegas.
Rent is cheaper here still than California and New York, but it's still not the best investment of your money if you can buy. So that's just kind of where we're at.
With what you're paying in rent, you need a tax write-off, and you don't get it when you're renting. So.
Yeah. All right, let's see. Oh, these guys are having a good combo. No questions, but love your video and all of your content. Hey, thanks. It was AD Angel 702. Thank you. Appreciate that. Daryl Lee says true in general, but depends on what price range you're talking about. Oh, they were talking about the softening of rent and things like that. telling you guys it's not softening. They may be also letting them sit longer because there's less buyers and less renters on the market, but they're not reducing prices. They don't have to yet. They just don't.
And isn't that a way kind of to manipulate too? Because if you put people in a lease, the question is that after the year lease is over, are they still raising the rents after the year lease is over? Because what I was seeing is that they'd hit their year, and then the landlord would say, okay, now the rents are raising to this. And now they're raising to this. So if you get in at what you consider decent, you still have to worry about where the future takes you.
Yeah. Carrie says, I'm grateful to have been able to buy in June 2020, would not be able to afford to buy these days. Listen, I thank you, Carrie. So grateful that you bought as well. I want to just remind you guys, it's all about perception, right? Las Vegas is still extremely affordable by comparison, but it depends on where you're comparing it to. But Las Vegas is still affordable. And I really don't want to get into the habit of people saying that it's not, because it absolutely still is. We still have amazing tax structure. We still have incredible no sales tax or no state income tax, right? No state income tax, amazing low property taxes, incredible programming out here for small businesses. This city is still set up to help you succeed. So do not allow what's happening over the last year or two mess with your perception and really stop you from thinking that this is still a place that gives an abundance of opportunity. It really is. Let's get our facts straight. But Carrie, I'm freaking proud of you. Congratulations.
To be honest with you, Carrie, when you bought, there was a lot of fear in the market at that point because of COVID. So you didn't listen to the fear. Good job.
I love this. Let's see. I know I don't know what he's saying. Oh, Amari says, I've never bought in another state. This is new to me. Let's talk about buying in another state. That's actually a really good point. We've got a really great program. If you have a home in another state that you're currently living in and you're interested in buying a home in Las Vegas, it used to be you have to sell that house first while you're looking for a new house. You have to get everybody to agree that they're going to be dependent on the other contingent on the houses. Like it becomes a nightmare and very, very stressful. But Amber's got an amazing program that has to do with bridge loans. You want to talk about it?
So what you're going to do is if you own the house, like let's say you're moving from, what state should I throw out there? Oregon.
Sure.
So let's say you're moving from Oregon and you have the house. It's stressful to start a new job, sell a house, buy a house. I mean, honestly, that kind of causes heart attacks. It's a lot going on at the same time, right?
So bad.
So this is a way to access the money from that you're going to use. Like you have a lot of equity in the house in Oregon. So you're going to access the money from the equity that you have in Oregon in a bridge loan.
Yeah.
So we know that's only going to be a temporary loan. And you're going to take that money and put it on to the new house, right? We do this all kind of in the same transaction. So we're doing it all together. It takes away a lot of the stress.
It's amazing.
It helps you not have to sell before you buy, not have to go through that uncertainty of where you're going to live.
Take your time buying,
Yeah.
It's really beautiful.
The only thing that you have to do is before you close the house here, there's a couple things that we have to do on guidelines. So I shouldn't say the only thing you have to do, but the one thing I want to point out is before you close your house in Vegas, you have to list that house.
Yeah.
Where you're from.
Right.
So that's
fine. Once you close.
And usually you're going to anyway because you don't want to go too far with making a couple payments.
Yeah.
So
great question. And if you're looking at relocating, we are relocation experts. When I tell you 98% of our clientele are relocation clients. It's all we do every day, all day.
To be honest with you, your team is the only one pushing the bridge program. So nobody else really knows about it. So good job watching Laci.
Come on in. All right, let's see. Robert says he fears that tourism is going to take a hit as the economy slows down. Hi, Robert. Good to see you as always. Thank you for tuning in. I wanted to say, I just read an article or something. Somebody told me, I think it was an article I read that said June was the biggest month we've ever had from an income perspective as a city.
And that's in the heat.
In the heat.
When people don't usually come to Vegas.
When inflation was at $6 a gallon in some places like California, $5 a gallon across the nation.
I think that people are going to take their chance on winning in Las Vegas.
Right? That is a valid concern, but I'll be honest with you. Our city has been knocked down, scraped her knees, done some stuff. She's still kicking.
More rebounds than most people ever would have.
She's a rebound girl. I like it. I'm not concerned about tourism. Tourism is flourishing thanks to the Raiders, thanks to all the amazing sporting events that we have here. We've got nothing but, the concerts are back for good. We've got nothing but good things happening for our city. The MSG Sphere is going to be opening up at some point.
That's coming along nicely.
Yeah, that thing is crazy.
Vegas has done a beautiful job of really focusing in on tourism, right? Like they have more things here that people just want to see it.
The infrastructure of the city is built out to support. I mean, even during COVID, things sucked here and things got really crappy, but that's what it took to knock us down. Like the city's fine. And I think that I would ease your concerns just based on at the height of inflation just last month when, prices are going up on houses, prices are going up on the cost of materials to build homes. Freaking gas was $5.50 a gallon or whatever it was, and people were still visiting. It was the most we've ever had in the city. So biggest month ever. Tish, hey Tish, good to see you. Hello, girls. I'm sure someone has already asked this, but I've not heard your answer. Do you think there will be a recession? Yes, we are afraid to buy a home, but we don't want to lose it in the future. So why do people assume recession means losing their home?
It's because 2008 was so traumatic for, if you didn't go through 2008, your parents went through 2008. Right. So it was so traumatic that mortgage meltdown was in people's minds as recession, right?
Got it.
Mortgage meltdown caused the recession. So mortgage meltdown would have been similar to like COVID. Right.
Okay.
It was a whole different subject.
Right.
But it caused a recession because it went down.
Right.
So when you were talking about recession, it's not what we went through in 2008. The meltdown caused that. COVID caused it. But because of the recession, then we benefited with rates, right? Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. And I know that people also think recession means I'm going to lose my job, right? The only reason you're going to lose your house is if you stop making the payments. And that's the bottom line, or you can no longer make the payments. But I want to just say this. In the time of COVID, even before COVID, but especially during COVID, we saw mortgage companies work their asses off to help people make sure they were going to be able to keep their homes and not lose them.
It was a whole different ballgame.
And your company, I think, did better than other companies around the nation. I think, didn't they say that at that event that we went to?
Yeah.
That you guys
honestly, I was so proud to be a part of Guild during that time because I would hear what they're saying. I wasn't necessarily on the conversation, but I would hear through the client what they were doing to help clients out. Like it was unbelievable. Everything off the table. What do we need to do to help you survive right now? And that's a difference between 08 and 08. You couldn't get the banks to work with you at all. Yeah. They would not work with you.
Because they had never, it was too much too soon. They'd never dealt with that kind of experience.
And honestly, there was a lot in the laws where banks could have taken control. Banks benefited from you losing your house.
Yep.
There's now laws in place that will prohibit that kind of stuff and that kind of abuse to happen.
Yeah. So if losing your job is a concern, of course, absolutely, you should be nervous and concerned about it. But I would be more concerned about renting and losing your job because your landlord can just kick you out.
They won't have any.
If you're the homeowner, you've got banks that are willing to work with you. Just again, homeowner, it gives you more clout.
That's a great point.
Right?
That's a great point.
Right? The banks are going to work with you. So if God forbid you were to lose your job, banks are going to work with you to help you keep that home.
When hardships hit, you want to be a homeowner.
But we're in a recession, my love. Sorry, Tish, but we're already in it. I don't care what Janet Yellen or Yellman or whatever the F her name is said. We're in a recession, and recession inevitably will mean good things for home buyers because rates will soften a little bit and come down, but we don't want to have you guys wait until that moment. We want you to be ready when that moment happens.
Yeah, and it's a natural thing that happens in economies. You can't manipulate money and use free money all the time without effects happening. So it's a natural thing.
Urban Duck says home prices in Vegas have been dropping. Home listing prices have been dropping, but home values have not been dropping. So let's make sure we get it straight, guys. Home values are what the appraisers tell the banks the house is actually worth. That has been steady. And when it comes down, I'll let you know if it comes down. Trust me. What's been coming down is the listing prices. It's greed. It's the listing agent who's not educating their seller to properly price the home to get it sold, or not telling them that it's going to take longer to sell it. And it's people having a greedy mindset going out there thinking, why isn't it sold in a week? How come it's not sold? And how come I'm not getting 50,000 over like my buddy Charlie down the street did 3 months ago, right? So bottom line is, home prices might be looking like they're coming down, but it's truly just an adjustment and a rebalancing from when we were crazy out of whack. And you should be happy about that. Time to buy.
Yes.
Hello. So,
I love how you explain that too.
Thank you. Sometimes I forget that I kind of know what I'm doing.
You totally know what you're doing.
All right. Ika says, hello, how you doing? Oh, I just lost my place. Let's see. God, you guys are awesome. Look at all these comments.
Look at the love. Thank you.
Oh my God, you guys make me smile. Okay. Oh my God, this is crazy. You guys are going nuts. Keep them coming. This is amazing. All righty. So let's see here. We've got, oh man, I just lost it. Tish says this, okay, there we go. How long do you have to wait to refinance after purchasing? Shug and Joey. Hey, Shug, how you doing?
Hello, Shug.
Congratulations on your upcoming wedding. We love you.
Oh, that's so awesome. I'm excited to see your wedding.
I am too.
Okay, so how long you have to wait after purchasing? Typically, you want to wait 6 months. So make 6 months payments. Most loan programs will prohibit you to refinance before that. So 6 months, and then you can refinance. So watch the market. Once you buy a house, don't let go of the market. Don't stop following people that talk about the market, such as Laci, right? Don't keep following the market, because then you'll know when things go down. So it's time to refinance, or when you can take advantage in any way.
Yeah.
So
good question. So again, better time even more reason to buy this year, at the end of this year or now, so that within the next 6 months, as we know things are gonna, with the recession, gonna soften, that you'll be able to take advantage of it. Let's see here. Urban Backed is coming in here. Kind of seems like you're spreading some fear in my comments here. So I'm gonna call you out and say, we've been talking about it. If you want to rewind to the beginning, Feds just raised the rates, but they didn't raise the housing rates. And I think that's a very important thing for you to understand. So please go to the beginning of the video to try to understand what that really means. And then come back and spread some non-fear.
Because I'm just going to put something on there. What the Feds did today is more about what their words were than what they did.
Correct.
Right?
It's perception.
And what their words were helped me have hope that we're not going to be going like this anymore. Because their words were, we're going to slow this down, the pace of what we're raising, which means that our rates are going to stabilize. And when news is released, we're going to see dips.
So Urban Backed, I love that you're tuning in. And I hope you know I'm just giving you a hard time. We just want to make sure you're educated. So please feel free to rewind back. And please keep commenting. Really appreciate your comments. But I don't want any fear. I don't want anybody having fear, including you. We want to make sure that you've got the right info. DLVTT says, now the home price drops a little, maybe more international investors will be ready to buy a home in Vegas. Are there any examples of this? We've got investors buying in Vegas still. Honestly, it's slowed down a little bit because money's not quite free anymore. But the key to the question is, investors have already been buying here. They're buying so they can rent it out because rent is on the rise and not going down. So the investment time frame to invest in Vegas, whether the rates are free or not or whatever, is now. Like, it's definitely always a good time. And I love it when our international investors come and play. I think you're one of our international people, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure. I don't have that great of a memory.
Might be time.
Aussie says, I agree foreclosures aren't a big risk, but the Wall Street buyers dumping all their houses they bought in the last 2 years is. Do you think Wall Street buyers who've been buying?
I did do a little bit of research on this. So the hedge funders, right? So when hedge funders are purchasing, they're purchasing for a long term. Remember, these are long-term investors.
Yep.
So 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
They're doing it to take advantage of inflation because they can get high rent prices on it. So a lot of times if they're going to dump this money in and they can get a rate of return on rent prices that's higher than what they can get on the stock market, that's a long-term investment and that's smart for them, right?
Yeah.
So them dumping their houses all at once
doesn't do that for them. It's almost counterintuitive.
In a world where they can raise rents, they can get high rents due to inflation. Remember, they're taking advantage of any market, right? So when they can have high rates of return with the rents come in, there's no reason to dump the houses.
Good point. Thank you for bringing that up, though, because that is a fear that a lot of people have. So hopefully that answer helped kind of ease your fear and realize like the kind of really what's going on. Great comment, though. Love that. Carrie says, here's a great idea. Build more dense living options downtown in those vacant lots and boarded up old motels and put in a grocery store. Carrie, let me tell you, I live downtown. They need a damn grocery store. They did have one downtown.
They do need a grocery. Why don't they have a grocery store?
They do. It's like a block or two away. They do have them, but we need one that's walkable.
We need like
downtown.
A new one with like.
Here's the problem. They had one a couple years ago. It was across from Carson Kitchen and the donut shop. The problem is there wasn't, this was like 4 years ago, there wasn't enough residential down there to support it. So they had to board it up and close it. But I do think that they're working on that. I know that there's a lot of development happening downtown and dense living options like share downtown owned by, Sam Cherry, the smaller studio apartment types living. That's happening. It's already underway. So great idea, Carrie. What are you doing for a living? Maybe you need to get a developer of some sort.
Exactly. That is a good point.
Sammy said she's more worried about the prices of gas and food than mortgage rates. That's the real reality that affects us all, regardless of who's buying and selling. You're right. You're absolutely right. And that's why, watching the fact that we're in a recession, seeing what the government's going to do to balance us out, seeing, if you can't, here's the thing is you can't control. You can't control the price of milk. You can't control the price of gas. But what you can control is securing a home price and a home rate and a home mortgage that you are paying to yourself that you can rely on. If God forbid the world explodes, again, like I said before, you own that and you're going to be able to work with a bank to make sure you don't have to lose it versus your landlord who raises your rate every year or who decides to sell while you're living there. So you have to find some things in life that you can try to get your arms around and try to control. And I'm personally a big believer in leaning into the home buying to make that happen.
And honestly, if you're worried about gas and food, I didn't realize how directly connected every industry was until, and maybe that was dumb on my part, but until we walked into the world of inflation and I saw gas and food is what's causing and rents, they're all connected, causing inflation go up and up, and they're all working together. So we do have to get those prices down.
The one thing you can control
in order to get rates down. Once we
see you're paying where you live, right? The one you can control is is where you live and how you choose to live, right?
Mm-hmm.
The rest of the stuff's going to go up and down the rest of our lives, but secure your future with the home, and then let the rest kind of fall where it's going to go, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's my take.
Marry the house, date the rate.
I know it's easier said than done. And on that note, marry the house, date the rate. Steve Whitley says, buy the house and not the market. Markets will take care of themselves and ebb and flow over the years, but in the long run, the quality house will always gain value and be a home. Steve, are you a realtor?
Amen, Steve.
Amen, Steve. I'm gonna put that on my wall. Thank you, sir. Buy the house, not what is it? Marry the house, date the rate. Marry the house, date the rate. That's it. All right. International investors are only interested in capital gains, and with the U.S. dollar being sky high, houses in the down trajectory, I expect the activity to slow. Good point. That'll be interesting to watch from an international investor perspective. Hey, Valentine, good to see you. He says he's scared that he will not be able to buy his house next year. Amber, what can you tell us about BBEERR? What's that? Is that a program?
I don't know what BBE. It could be a program, but I might not know it in those abbreviations. So Valentine, tell us what those abbreviations mean. Oh, but thank you for stumping us. We appreciate it.
Omari says, I'm ready to buy next year in April. Omari, call us today. Let's get you dialed in today so that when time comes, and if you're ready to buy in April, that means you got to start looking December, January timeframe. So start talking to us today. That's going to be here before you know it.
Plus play the markets in between there.
Yeah, hello. Shug and Joy said Resorts World has free parking. I totally forgot about that. Yes, and I know it's technically on the Las Vegas Strip, but it's not necessarily in the heart of it.
Further over.
But good point. I totally forgot that. Michael Penrith says, are you still making videos on other channels like the Cerrone Group? Michael, we definitely still own the Cerrone Group channel. We paused our creation for that channel for the time being. We had some shifts on our team, and I wanted to really kind of restructure what we're doing. We are going to be promoting videos on that channel, so stay subscribed.
Look at your fans.
If you're not subscribed, thank you for asking. Look in the description below. Go subscribe to all of our channels. Amber has a channel. Her link is in the description. Steve, Battleboard Steve, has a channel. Obviously, I have a channel. Our Xpand Realty has a channel. That's our brokerage. Please subscribe to all of them. My hands are on all of those channels, so please allow us to, dazzle you in different ways on each channel and bring you a different experience. We really are trying to kind of just break up the experience to give you guys the best experience possible and the best content possible.
We love the Laci dazzle.
Woo, I'm trying. Bedazzle. Yes, we're going to dazzle you. Shug says also locals get 3 hours free at certain hotels and on the way in and on the way out. You have to show your ID. So that is a good point too. If you're a local, all the more reason to live here.
Thanks for pointing that out, Shug.
You do get at least 3 hours free at some of the places. Did I just spit on you? No, I think I did.
You didn't. You missed me.
Denise says, we love you, Amber and Laci. We love you too.
Love you too.
Sammy says, also, Laci, I've seen your IG and I have view envy. Oh, yes. The view from my place is pretty legit. Yes.
You do have an amazing view.
I do. Oh, somebody said Treasure Island does free parking. See, I don't go to TI very often. You guys know more than me. Shoot. You guys want to make videos for my channel? Let's see. Is somebody saying, is paying for parking a concern? Maybe you shouldn't be coming to Vegas. It's 15 lousy bucks. Oh, be nice. Listen, that 15 bucks could buy you a beer or a drink, and I would rather lean into that than pay parking. So I don't want to pay parking either. But if you are here gambling, make sure you have a rewards card or your player's card, because they often will, no matter what you spend, that'll often give you free parking as well. And if you're a hotel guest, you usually get free parking too. So, but locals, 3 hours free. Good reminder on that one, Shug. Let's see. Michael says, I feel like people are moving away from Las Vegas because they are scared of the water. Plus, the crime has gotten absolutely ridiculous. I haven't heard about crime rates really going up. We're a regular city, though. Let me just be very real with you. We do have crime.
We do a regular city,
right? From a water perspective, what did we say last time?
Okay, let's just look at this. I was just looking at this in kind of like a common sense way. It's not Vegas that's having problems. It's the whole Western United States. For us to run out of water, California would have to run out of water. Arizona would have to run out of water, and Utah. Is there any other states I'm missing that are in that are all fed by the Colorado? Yeah. That are all fed by the Colorado. So all those states, California supplies a good portion of our food supply. Yeah. So you don't think that there's going to be alternative plans for our water to come from different areas of the country that might have an abundance in water? Right. Like I don't really think that to me that's not a concern, because that's millions of people. Right. Millions of people.
There are absolutely. I get the water crisis concern. I understand it, and we're definitely water is a concern. It's always been a concern. We're in the freaking desert. That's why we have Hoover Dam. There's like a lot of things, right? That are
and
all
is this maybe like the toilet paper was during COVID?
No,
where there's a lot of talk about it.
There's definitely a lot of talk about it. So the point I want to make is we're not water experts. We don't work for the Water Authority, clearly. Highly recommend, though, that watching little blips and little clips of clickbaity stuff that's online is not the way to go for you.
YouTubers are making a lot of money on their clickbait.
Making a lot of money on those clicks, and they're not spending it on water to help in any way, shape, or form. So please go to the Clark County Water Authority, or just look at the water district in general and look at their articles, and they're explaining what their long-term plans are, short-term plans are. They're not just sitting back waiting for things to get fixed. Go to the source and look at what's going on. I'm not worried. I live in Vegas. I've been here 35 years, and I'm not worried, not one bit. So, but I do get your concern, and I appreciate you bringing that up. Thank you. Thank you. Daryl says, I'm hearing crime is on the rise even in Henderson. I think the thing that's really important to keep in mind, and maybe you can attest to this, is, our population has grown quite a bit in the last 2.5, 3 years, right? Since COVID, during COVID, we had about 138 new people moving here every single day. Every single day. We
can feel it in the traffic.
And we can feel it a little bit in the traffic. We did not have that many people leaving. So it's not like we had a balancing act there. So please know that with more people comes more traffic. With more people comes more crime. With more people comes more of everything, right? So just keep that in mind and try to balance that with the inflation and how many people live here, and try to see if those numbers really have gone up. Maybe they've gone up from what we used to be, but we've got way more people. So good question. Good comments though. Let's see. Urban Backed says, would you be able to help with purchasing a lot to build a custom home? Why,
absolutely.
Yes, we can. Do you do?
In fact, there's great construction loans.
Yeah, out there. There's loans. You do construction loans out there, which is cool. Which that means you get to choose, who builds it and work on that. But do you do loans for vacant lots? I wasn't sure if you did that.
Not for vacant lots. So a lot of times when people are buying a house, you can take a loan out for vacant lots. I don't do the lot loans.
Right.
But when you're buying a lot, you're going to eventually build on it. So what a lot of people will do is they'll pay cash for the lot. Then that cash is used as collateral as they're building the house. So then you don't have to put a larger down payment when the house is being built.
The other thing you have is that the loan where it's a fixed loan, where they buy a house that's maybe not great, but it's got a great piece of land, and they can go in and renovate the house with a loan. So then she can provide the loan for both the land and for the house.
And that loan, you can take it right down to the foundation and then rebuild on it. It's pretty cool.
That is what I'm probably going to be doing. I'm not going to lie. I just wanted to touch on Lawrence Best says, you are funny. I've been in my house almost 2 years and I haven't hung any pictures. I'm not afraid. I just haven't gotten around to doing it. That's cute.
Hang those pictures, girl. Make it your home.
Ben asked a great question.
I'm sorry, Lawrence.
Lawrence, that's okay. Are there first-time home buyer incentives?
Yes, there's actually a lot out there.
Don't even have to be a first-time home buyer,
There's a common misconception that there's not any grant programs left. There's still grant programs, and mostly what they're available to is first-time home buyers. The grants that they took away are grants that their rates were adjusted on the MBS. So basically they were raising the rate to pay back your down payment, right?
Oh, yeah.
But the actual grants that are available are actual grants. They're bonded by the government, and they're there to help you as a first-time home buyer. So absolutely, there's still grants like that out there.
Free grant money, free incentives are coming from the builders. Listen, buyer's market, babies, buyer's market. That's all I'm saying.
We love it.
Daryl says, I appreciate you guys for doing these, and I appreciate the nice people in your chats. Thank you, Daryl.
Oh, thanks, Daryl.
Trace says,
you do have such nice people in your page.
I love you guys. I'm so grateful for this audience. Trace said, I live in Henderson and I've been here 3 years. Nothing scary happening in my area, but crime is everywhere, as a reminder. So good point, Trace.
Thanks,
Thank you. Doug says, do you know if any other gated neighborhoods as large, nice, or as green as Spanish Trail? Yes, Doug, I do, actually.
This is Miss Las Vegas.
And more affordable. Painted Desert or Painted is it Painted Desert or Painted Trails?
There's both of them.
Oh, no, the one that I'm talking about is the golf course community. Painted.
Isn't it Desert?
Yeah, Painted Desert. I always get them confused. Painted Desert is a beautiful golf course community.
You're probably thinking Spanish Trails.
No, that's right. So he's saying
Trails?
He's comparing to Spanish Trail. So Painted Desert.
But then there's Las Vegas Country Club.
Las Vegas Country Club, Red Rock Country Club.
Oh, Red Rock is
McDonald
beautiful.
Ranch.
Yeah,
yes.
There's a lot of them.
Yes, Doug. Yes. You know what we should do? We should set up a phone call so we can talk about it, and I'll give you the full list, and we can get you started on looking at those homes. They're really, really beautiful. Leslie says, Gal, you are a special woman. Your focus, vision, ambition, and I'm gonna cry. Are great tools to be with an opulent man. With 10 million into your hands, you could turn it into 100 million. I will contact you when I'm in Vegas. Leslie. It got me a little choked up there. I was like, oh, she's talking about me. Oh, thank you so much. That was so nice. Y'all are gonna make me a little. I'm a little verklempt.
That just made her day. You're such a beautiful person.
I'm a little verklempt. I don't know what I'm doing. Lawrence Best says interest rates are low in 95. I got my first house at 12%. The house I'm in now is at 2.75. Lawrence, congratulations. That's awesome, and that's a great point.
But I mean, honestly, you can see with the life that you lived and what you bought houses for, you can see the fluctuation. They're always moving up and down.
You guys are awesome. Let's see. Have the problems with the NFT market caused any financial challenges in relation to the home market? Great question. Is Jake Gallen still watching? He did comment earlier. I saw that he was watching. He's our local NFT expert here in Las Vegas. Very good friend of mine. He's been on the channel in some of my vlogs because he lives downtown too. And Jake actually is an NFT historian and an NFT expert here in Vegas. He does a lot of crypto stuff. I don't know that the NFT market has directly affected housing I don't think it has, honestly.
I haven't seen anything.
I don't think
what the stock market might do, but I don't know what the NFT is. But Jake can probably answer that better.
Said, Lawrence, it says Janet Hellman. Lawrence is funny.
Yeah, Lawrence is. I do like your name for it, Yellman.
Yellman. I love it. I love you guys all. I love that you're all sharing, your interest rate stories and things like that. You guys are awesome. If there's any other questions, drop them in there because we're going to wrap up pretty soon. But just want to touch on a few things. Daryl says, I'm a Raiders fan from New England area. Can't wait to come to the area, but not liking the increased cost of living. Hoping the economy turns around soon. So to your point, Daryl, we've been talking about it on this whole video. It's really starting to balance. But please be mindful of what you're comparing us to, because New England is freaking expensive. So are we more expensive than New England? If so, then I will eat my sock. I don't have one on today, but I'll eat a sock or something.
It might give us a reason to travel and just see what other people are doing.
Yeah, let's go. Let's
go
on a trip. Just so you guys know, Amber and I are going to be doing a home buyer seminar, but it's going to be online just for you in the month of August. So stay tuned. We're going to be releasing dates and details on that. We had some confusion with our last event in person, where a few of you guys thought it was going to be like a live stream. So we're setting up a private area where you have to sign up. You have to give us your information so we can get you set up. And then we're going to be able to do breakout rooms and answer your questions individually, but it'll be a more small setting, not live on the internet. So you can really get vulnerable and ask the right questions. We can see your face.
You can see ours. You can ask us whatever questions you need.
So it's coming month of August, pardon me. And we will also be doing in-person events. And she doesn't know it yet, but I'm going to make her do some.
I was like, what are we doing?
Out of Las Vegas events. So we might be coming to a city, town near you.
Can I mention a couple?
Please do. Please do right now. Yeah.
Hawaii would be great.
We're definitely going to be popping over to Hawaii. We will probably be visiting a couple of areas in Southern California, Northern California. We're starting to discuss the plan now. I hadn't actually told her yet, but by the way, this is what we're doing.
I'm excited.
And, so here's the bottom line is we're trying to make ourselves as readily available to you as possible. So online events, online live streams every week, updated cool shit about Las Vegas being posted on the videos, doing Instagram Q&As, doing Instagram fun stuff. We're really squeezing every drop out of our energy each day to bring you as much information as possible, because we really still want you to come.
Legitimately are. Like legit.
Like I ain't got nothing
Sometimes it causes like nervous breakdowns, but then we wake up the next day and we're better.
Then we get on the phone
because we believe we have that much passion in what we do.
Yeah. So if you're interested in seeing us come to your town and meet you in person and do a little Q&A about home buying and relocating and just all the cool things, drop your city in the description below. I'm pretty sure Laguna Niguel is going to be one of the areas we go, because Denise is on here every damn time.
Yes,
and we need to go visit her.
We want to visit you.
So let us know where you live. Let us know where you'd like to see us. And then again, in August, we're going to be doing our very first online education event is what we're going to call it. So really excited about this. We're super stoked. Chris M. Hi, Laci. I got in here late. Hey, Chris. Good to see you as always. Sammy, she said, Laci, ... drinks. Babe, I'm ready. Text the number in the description below. Let's freaking go. I'm ready for a cocktail, especially after today, man. You guys wore me out. I'm just kidding. This was an excellent
awesome.
Q&A.
Thank you guys. Thank you so much for joining.
Yeah, thank you for the Q&A. Thank you for the back and forth. Thank you for just being so vulnerable and sharing. We see a lot of the same faces, but I love when I see new ones too. We're grateful for everything, you being a part of our world, and hopefully, really making it a reality to move to Vegas. And if you already live here, making it the best and most impactful experience possible. It is my life's mission to make sure that everyone who lives here loves living here as much as I do. And
we don't want to see you have a heart attack. So let's share in that.
I have to have a heart attack, right?
Sharing that passion of Las Vegas, right? No, but seriously, you put your heart and soul into this, and we appreciate it.
Yeah. Steve says, feel free to use my thoughts. I'm not a realtor, just a retiree living in Canada. Steve, you're amazing. Love all of our regulars. Thank you for coming back. For all of our new people, thank you. If you're tuning into this late, please rewind to the beginning. We covered some really great information about the Fed rate hikes, the current status of the market. And hopefully we got a couple of you over the hump for some of those fears that we shared. We don't want any fear. We want you to be brave and greedy while others are being fearful, because this is the time for you to really win. Ask Dave Ramsey. He'll tell you the same thing. Now is the time to buy for a first-time home buyer for sure.
I know. I'm actually, I've never, I mean, I'm a fan of Dave Ramsey, but I've never actually like followed him closely. But I'm like, he's got some good things to say.
He's preaching to the choir.
He's got some good things to say. Yeah.
Thank you guys. We'll see you soon. And tune in next week. We're going to do this every Wednesday like we always do, unless somebody gets sick or COVID or something.
We love it when you're here. Thank you.
Love you guys. Stay tuned. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.